Hola a todos, gracias nuevamente por estar aquí. Yo soy Niky Monik, el nuevo comenzar de un nuevo año, el 2023. Mi invitado es un super soldado.
Era Tony Rodrigues, con estas experiencias, porque son grandes experiencias que él tuvo cuando estuvo viajando, cuando fue esclavo en este sistema secreto espacial. How was the technology outside compared with human technology? Like right now we are in IA, in artificial intelligence. So how is down there?
There was a lot of things that were classified beyond because I was a slave that I didn't use or have like I didn't have a phone. They all had like a clear phone that they had, it was clear. And they said that, if you use your phone a lot, your eyes will go bad. If you stare at a computer screen or something closer than 3 feet, it's bad for your eyes. And so that's why they were clear, and they had a little bit of 3D effect. Like it looked like 3D, like a couple inches, but everybody had a phone. I knew when I got on the train that people would come in and sit down, and in the first few minutes until the train started moving, that's when I would get picked on. If somebody was going to say something mean to me because I was slave, and they were picking on me, it would happen then, because once the train got moving, everybody got out their phone and started playing on their phone. But I didn't have one, so I was very, I was resentful about that. I felt left out. I was very angry. But looking back on it, it's probably not that big of a deal. But they had a flat screen, ribbon TVs were everywhere. The windows in businesses had screens that were coming. They had holograms. Um, Gravity was the big deal, was the biggest deal. Like they had a lot of high tech things. Everything was electric motored. They didn't have gasoline or anything like that. And but there were a lot of things that were just like what we have today. Like you said, the bathroom. My bed was a bed, and the light, with the light over it, it was where I stayed was very much like anywhere that would be today. There was no, they used a lot of things from Earth. They imported a lot of wristwatches and clothes and things that they brought from Earth. So there was technology, there was a high level of technology, but it wasn't just dripping everywhere. Like they still weren't super advanced. And they kept a lot of the good things for themselves, not the slave or the labor. They had a labor population, and the people that lived there, they had their own level of tech that they were exposed to. So there was a lot of technology, but it wasn't like everything.
Now you said that you are in a train. So you're talking about you are.
So there was a portal train
Oh,
that
there was
was
a portal. Okay,
there was a
okay.
train that went from Mars to Ceres, was a train that went through a portal. And that's been described by Dr. Andrew Bashago from the
Yes, it
Project
is.
Pegasus. He said there's
Yes.
elevators and
Yeah.
trains. So that's one of something that he corroborated. Um, no, the train system that I rode every day was what connects. So Ceres was about 580 miles across. It's a very small planet, like a large asteroid, but it's round. And inside of it, they had cities that were built in pockets in caverns, and then places that they had dug out pockets or found water and took the water out and built cities inside. And they were connected by high-speed trains. You could be anywhere in 45 minutes on the whole planet on riding the train. They were fast, but they were on wheels. They weren't maglev, those ones. And they were just it was a small, you could buy a day pass, you could buy just the way. There was a kiosk that did facial recognition. They had money, and you didn't need to carry it with you. You could come out of your face. Well, I'm saying you could buy, it was monthly, and you could pay a couple of bucks a month and be subscribed, and you didn't need to carry money with you. It would be in your bank account, and when you wanted to purchase something, it knew who you were by your face, the facial recognition.
Yes.
And that's how you would spend money. And then it would knew where you were, so that if somebody faked it and there was another, you get what I'm saying? Like the facial recognition system where you were everywhere. So no one could steal your money because the computer knew where you were. So there was a bit of AI. I really didn't hear too much about it. The ship, it's not like I communicated with any kind of AI. I was aware that the reptilians used a really high level of AI, that they had nanites, nanotechnology robots inside that were inside them always. And there were procedures that then it would come out, they would take them out. But the there were certain reptilians that had so many nanites in them that they were running an AI, like a hive mind altogether. Technology. So there were places that were not as super high tech, and there were places that were sectioned off. Like the moon basically was like that. Farther into the moon had higher technology or classified technology, if that makes any sense.
Is any experience that you saw, you watched when those soldiers, they fighting, like they were throwing through or this type of technology where they can redoing them back again to the same body, or you know what I mean?
I think it's through cloning. I got injured. I lost an arm once, and I was very badly burned on two separate occasions. And I was taken to the hospital, and I was put out. And when I woke up, I was fine again. And then, like the next day, it was very fast. So how they did it, I don't know. If it was a med or whatever, I think it was cloning. I think that they cloned us, and they could just take your consciousness out of you and put it into the clone, and then that was that. So I think that's what a lot of the medical technology rests on, cloning.
Are you think that we are awakening right now, or why we gotta awake?
So for the last 60 years, it's clear they've been programming us. People are programmed, and people are unaware of how much they're manipulated by the media. If you look at generations and you look at how this generation behaves nowadays, people are programmed. There's a lot of programming. They tell you who is ideal to sleep with. So people get an idea from the media of what attractive is, and it's who they should be with. And that's really changing genetics. It's changing the genetics of society by making an ideal person. And there's a lot going on with that right now that's just been in the last 10 years. It's changing the way people reproduce. So there's been a lot of programming. They programmed us that make it where UFO, if you say UFO, is you're supposed to, oh, you're crazy, and laugh at the person, that their person's a nut job. So instead of unprogramming that, they just changed it to UAP. They've rebranded it because now they're planning on telling us. Now they're undoing the programming, and we can see the world, the media is changing the programming. When we were kids, there was no life in space. You're stupid, don't even think about it. And now they're like, there's got to be life in space, and they're showing there's UAPs. But now we know they are telling us, but they have to do it slowly because we've had so much programming that it's going to take a while to turn the boat around. It's such a big ship of where people, the average person is at mentally. They've all been programmed. So that is definitely happening, and that's positive. That means they're going to tell. Once we learn, then it's going to be hard for them to put the genie back in the bottle. Once they tell us that there's intelligent life here on Earth with us, that's a different species, and we'll have contact. Well, there are big groups, the Galactic Federation of Worlds, people call the Orion Group. There are millions of them, groups of thousands of planets that work together. And once we get contact and sponsor with one of those, we'll trade information. We'll trade technology, and it'll happen. The future will happen quickly. That's the thing. It'll happen very quickly. It's just that we're seeing it happen. The other thing is they're getting rid of both sides, the good guys and the white hats and the black hats, or the gray hats, whatever you want to call them. They're both working towards disclosure. They have to. And so, you look at one guy, people are up in arms of whether Elon Musk is a good guy or a bad guy. It doesn't matter. He's getting the job. He's doing the job. And the bad guys are also doing the job, and the good guys are also doing the job because they've been programming us to keep it for themselves for the last 50 years, 100 years, however long, for decades. And now they're undoing it, and it's going to take them a while to undo it. But that's definitely what's going on, and that's definitely a good thing, because we should have way more for our dollars that we've invested into them than what we do have. And people are better than what they think they are. The monetary system, the people don't have a good role model to aspire to be. And it's dangerous. It's bad. It's stunning our growth. It's stunning everybody's growth. So that's what's happening. You can see it happening. And some people don't agree with it. We have wars happening. There's a lot of big changes going on, and I think they're going into the direction of disclosing and wiping the slate clean.
Are we moving to the fifth dimension?
So there's a lot of labels about that. I'm not sure how I would call that, but there's definitely a spiritual way, a level of awareness that people are going to, move to. I always say it like this. Some people are very well behaved and very advanced souls. You hug them and they're bright. You go, wow. Some people are very, very loving and they just have everything figured out. And then there's many people that behave like animals. If you think about it, they behave just like an animal does. The only thing they understand is if they get confrontation. Like if you ask them nicely, they're their own worst enemy, and they behave. They're only cited. They victimize other people, and they can't see past the end of the week. You get what I'm saying? They're like an animal because there's a level of spiritual development, and everybody's in there. Some people are very developed, and some people are not. And we're seeing the world kind of turn. We're seeing everybody at once develop right now very quickly. The earth is moving into scientifically proven. We're moving to something called the photonic belt, and they don't understand what it is, but people are changing. The kids are different these days. The same old of people victimizing and behaving like an animal isn't working anymore. And so we're seeing a lot of things in the world change. And that's what's going on. So however, I don't know the right, whatever you call it, density or whatever it is, I don't know the words. But what I'm saying is it's true. There's a scientific phenomenon and it's true. And people are getting smarter and more spiritually. The kids today are very far ahead of us as far as using personal manifesting things. Like our consciousness is a big deal. And they're learning this stuff. So
Tony, do you think that everybody has to pay a karma in this planet? Are we in a prison planet paying a karma?
Personally, I believe in karma. I've seen it happen. I've seen people get, I believe that when you change things, it's like water. You know what I'm saying? Like when you displace water, it's got to settle again. And so I do believe in karma. I don't think that we're here because we're being punished. I don't. I think we're here because we know that we're going to change, that it changes now. That everybody that's alive right now picked to be here at the most important time in the whole planet to change. And so I don't think we're here. This is the prison planet thing is in your mind. I do believe in karma. I believe that when you put that love out there, you'll get love. And when you put effort out there, you'll get effort, you'll get rewards. And so I've seen it happen. I've seen people that treat people badly and you can't tell them, you can't teach them. And karma will teach the lesson. The universe is a machine that teaches the lessons, that is producing enlightened people. The universe is a machine. And so that's what I think karma is. And it's true. And so in some ways I have good karma, in some ways I don't. I got lessons to learn just like everybody else.
Tony Rodrigues, and remember, he has 2 books. Next time he will be bringing the books. And we can find the number 1 and number 2 in Spanish too, Tony?
Well, not yet. They will be eventually. They're not yet. So
we need them.
The book, you can find me on TonyRodrigues.com, just how it's spelled with an S at the end.
It's
and
right
.com.
Mm-hmm.
And it has links to my Patreon show and my interviews and my book and my memory course. A lot of people I talk to feel like they've been through the same thing. And that's all on there. And I'll come back next time. I'll keep you posted.
He's coming back. Thank you so much, Tony.
Okay.